Donald Trump is facing fresh accusations for sexual misconduct. The accuser in this example is a woman named Karena Virginia, and she spoke out via press conference, basically accusing Donald Trump of groping her and making sexual comments about her and appearance during the 1998 US Open. Let's take a look at the press conference and we'll get into further details.
He was with a few other men. I was quite surprised when I overheard him talking to the other men about me. He said, "Hey, look at this one. We haven't seen her before. Look at those legs." As though I was an object rather than a person. He then walked up to me and reached his right arm and grabbed my right arm. Then his hand touched the right inside of my breast. I was in shock. I flinched. Don't you know who I am? Don't you know who I am?
Okay, so this is the 10th sexual assault accusation facing Mr. Trump since the release of the Access Hollywood tapes with Billy Bush, of course, which Melania Trump would say he was just egging him on in that example. All right, and this is the 14th accusation overall for the Republican presidential nominee. So I want to get to a quote really quick, which goes into further details before we come back and discuss. This is from the accuser again. She said, "Mr. Trump, perhaps you do not remember me or what you did to me so many years ago, but I can assure you that I remember you and what you did to me as though it was yesterday. Your random moment of sexual pleasure came at my expense and affected me greatly." So the Donald Trump camp has responded, as you would expect in this example, so let's take a look at that. Basically, they said, discredited political operative Gloria Allred in another coordinated publicity-seeking attack with the Clinton campaign will stop at nothing to smear Mr. Trump. Give me a break. Deputy Commission Director Jessica Ditto said that. Thoughts?
Okay, I'm gonna talk about something that's truly ironic that I noticed in the debate last night as well from both the Clinton party and also the Trump party. Now, when faced with the question of WikiLeaks, Clinton immediately pivoted and said, "Oh, well, this is espionage," right? She was like, "This is Russian involvement trying to sway the election." What's ironic is that she didn't own up to any of the statements, even though her staffers had initially made these remarks. She had also played a part in a lot of this stuff with collusion within the media and a bunch of other things that we now know that we've been promoting at the Young Turks for a very long time. Now, what's ironic to me is that with Donald Trump, it's a very similar situation where he has, like whenever he's posed with the question of whether or not he sexually assaulted women, and there's plenty of instances, including one where he, with the hot mic that you mentioned when he got caught talking about how if you're famous, you can grab him by the pussy and it's fine, right? So he's basically even admitted to this. So there's, if you wanted to put a character profile together, you could see that. And then he immediately redirects it to, oh, the Clinton campaign is doing this. They're launching this assault against me. It's like, just, okay, well, you're doing the same exact pivoting that Hillary Clinton's doing when posed with the question of WikiLeaks. The reality is, these might be accusations, but there are so many instances throughout the course of Donald Trump's checkered past that just either go out there and apologize for at least the statements, at least whatever is public, and move along with it and say that I'm a reformed man and it hasn't happened as of late, or just, I don't know. I mean, don't bash Hillary Clinton for the similar things, or don't try to attack Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton by proxy when you yourself are under the same scrutiny, if not more.
I think he can't defend himself and say that he's reformed because he continues, right? He continues to use language, even in his responses to these rape allegations, that are sexist, right? Even in the debate last night, there were so many moments where he's indexing his sexism, and he's not even aware, right? So,
well, I mean, some were just overall like super brutal when she called Hillary Clinton a nasty woman.
Sure.
Yeah.
It doesn't get any worse than that, I feel like.
Sure, and I think there's a way in which, because Donald, and often a lot of people understand sexual assault or rape a certain way, they don't see the ways in which language contributes to perception and how perception contributes to action, right? So he may not be going around raping people how we kind of understand it. These are instances of unwanted touching, right? And there are multiple allegations of this specific kind of behavior,
including the use of the word rape from his first wife, Ivana Trump, during a deposition in the 90s where she described a harrowing scene in which Trump held her arms back, pulled her hair, and violently forced himself on her.
Right, yeah, any accusation is too many accusations, but 14 for a presidential candidate, right? It's ridiculous, but there is one point I wanted to address again. I addressed it a few days ago when I talked about it on the main show, is the way that these accusers are being treated is disgraceful, and it simply plays into the narrative that we know, which is sexual assault victims don't want to speak out. Only a third of sexual assault victims, I'm going to keep reiterating it, yes, if you're saying in the comments, why do you keep saying this? It's because it's true and it has to be addressed. Only a third of them actually speak out, especially when it's someone they know, and especially if it's someone of a celebratory status like Donald Trump, who has this power that they think is going to silence them, because she even talked about this. You can check out the rest of the press conference. She said that many people advised her not to come out and talk because she wouldn't be heard and she'd be said to be a liar. And they actually quoted here, the Donald Trump camp has said, voters are tired of these circus-like antics. No, they're not. Voters are not tired of circus-like antics. And by the way, if you think I'm going to go and condemn Donald Trump without condemning the same acts that happened back in 1992, you've got another thing coming. I don't like Donald Trump. I don't like their candidacy. But I'm not just going to go forward and bypass Hillary Clinton when it was back in 93, when the same accusers were coming out, not the same, I'm talking about the people, but they were accusing Bill Clinton as well, and they were called bimbos, and they said that they weren't any truer to it, they were just trying to grasp at fame. You can't accuse one without going back to the other. There is still this dismissal when it comes to politicians, when it comes to people of fame. That's why the Bill Cosby case is such a notorious case at the moment. That's why the statute of limitations was removed, so that people have the confidence that they can speak up and be heard.
The Young Turks isn't just us, it's also you guys. You make this show possible, and we want to thank you for it, and we want to grow together. We want to be too strong. TYTnetwork.com/join. Let's do it.